Yes, hello guys, and welcome to the next video. So in this one, we're going to be looking at NFP and employment. So moving on from what we saw last time, we obviously realized that, NFP is one of the employment figures are one of the biggest economic drivers, especially because it gives a really good understanding on how the economy is growing and how it serves its people in a way. The more people that are employed, the more money they can make, therefore the more spending that can happen. And then of course that's economic stimulation that you'd like. So NFP, the non-farm payroll report, is a key economic indicator for the United States, representing a total number of jobs added in that month. It consistently causes some of the biggest price moves in a month. It's so influential because it accounts for 80% of the GDP workforce. So this report is released at 1:30 on the first Friday of every month. Now, of course, this is UK time, so obviously convert it to wherever you are. So what does the report actually consist of? So the first part is a new amount of jobs added. Then you've got unemployment rate, the employment sectors. So it actually breaks it down into each sector of the United States. You've got the Latin American sector, the white Americans, African American. You've got different types of ages, genders as well. So you can, if there's because sometimes, especially when the Fed have talked, they've actually highlighted the fact that certain sectors in the economy, and I believe it was the Latin American part of the economy, part of all the consumers and the residents in the US, they were highlighted to not be very great in employment numbers. So they were hoping to get better data releases for them. Then the last bit is the manufacturing payroll subcomponent. So analyzing the data is very simple. Pretty much, it's have we got a positive or negative figure. Now, economists will always estimate the data beforehand based on other determined factors and data released previously. Now, the economy grows when NFP numbers are positive. So USD or DXY will strengthen. As you can expect, this has a roll-on effect on um, it has a roll-on effect on every other part of the economy. Therefore, more investors want to invest with US dollar, and therefore that strengthens. Usually in a stable market, a number above 100,000 new jobs added in that month is something positive. But we must always be adaptive and consider world events and the expected number. Now remember, if you choose to trade this news event, you are exposing yourself to very high amounts of risk. Because if you understand the direction and can trade past the massive manipulation that occurs, you'll be in for a very nice return. So the thing is, this can either make or break accounts. So especially if you do not stick to risk management, which I'll never advise you to do. Obviously, we're here for the long run and not just a short-term fix. Personally, I'm always going to advise, especially newcomers to the course and new students that I'm mentoring right now, don't actually trade NFP, but understand the implication it has and where we can see the directional bias heading. So preparing for NFP. Usually to prepare for NFP, I have a checklist of things to do. First of all, is understand the general fundamentals of where I see USD going. Then you can actually find out the whisper number online. Personally, I find this through my Bloomberg terminal that I have. But I believe it can also be accessed online through a bunch of FX news websites too. So now what happens when you actually get to the NFP? During NFP, I will usually have up 2 websites and a live stream. So the live stream that I always use is the FX Street NFP live stream. There's always this one guy that, he's been doing it for many, many years now. I believe over 10 years. He's done almost every single month as a stream. And he just goes through everything that's going on, even explains fundamentals and where he sees it going. And then in terms of the websites, I've got the Bloomberg Terminal live feed. And then another great one, if you don't have access to Bloomberg Terminal, it's FX Street live NFP report. They have like an instant feed coming through, and there's always analysts that are explaining what goes on and everything like that. Before I actually move on to, the websites and everything, I just wanted to explain a bit more about the predicted numbers and the actual numbers that come out. So you see here, it's quite well known. Above 100,000 is something positive. Anything less than that, it's been a very poor NFP. Therefore, you can expect DXY to drop. However, you've got to consider what's going on across the world and the macroeconomics. So, for example, at the moment, a lot of us in the past year have lost jobs. Therefore, unemployment rose, and NFP every single month, you can expect a severe drop, right? But as soon as the economy started opening up, we had the QE program. There was more money circulating in the economy. Therefore, businesses are thriving. That's when we started seeing the NFP rise substantially. I believe in the most recent one, it was almost 1 million jobs added. Now, this might seem crazy where you think, oh, because we had that massive increase, and it's way, way above 100,000, that's something positive. But you've always got to look at it as something relative of what the economy is doing at the moment. So this 100,000 is a general, just base number that you can use during normal times. However, what I'd always recommend is to look at the previous NFP numbers and actually go on the charts and see what's happened. This is something that I always observe. I believe before, when I was learning everything about NFP and how to trade it, I even had a document of every single month, just explaining what NFP number came out, what was the estimate, the whisper number, and then the actual effect of it on the markets and what happened. Usually, what I'd always see is there's a lot of manipulation at the time, perhaps consolidation for maybe the next few days. And then in other times, price would severely increase when the numbers were substantially bigger than what they were expected, or perhaps they were substantially smaller than what they expected. With NFP, you really can't be trading straight away, especially when the numbers are released. But yeah, I'm going to be getting more into that soon. So during NFP, like I said, you've got this second website that I look at, obviously the Bloomberg terminal. Not many of you might have access to that. But in terms of the website, I use the FX Street live NFP report. So this is what it looks like. Whoops. Here, for example, it says NFP rose 943K that month. So there will be a live report on the left-hand side over here showing the numbers that come out and some commentary at the same time. And then in terms of the live stream, they do NFP live stream here from FX Street. So he's the same guy. You can always look back as well, see what he actually predicts a few minutes before, and then the outcome of both the situations. And it lasts for quite a few hours. I believe it's a 5-hour stream. So if you've got time and you're not working on a Friday or anything, actually check this out. It's perfect for studying as well at the same time. There's many weeks where I would simply just watch the news, watch what was going on with this live stream, and then understand the effect on the markets, but I wouldn't even enter. So trading on the markets at the time. So the biggest movers of the market is, of course, the USD pairs at the time, because we're looking at NFP for the US. But in particular, what moves a lot that day is gold, which is XAU USD on the charts. Now, let's just say, for example, that we can see USD fundamentally is getting stronger, and we expect some good numbers for NFP. Of course, this is backed from previous numbers as well that might come out, what the Fed has said, what's their stance on tapering, everything like that. So we're expecting USD to rise. So first of all, what you can do about this to actually get into any trades is position yourself into your trade in the days before, so you can try to be risk-free. Obviously, this is days before, weeks before, whenever it may be. Take some partials and set to break even. So what this may mean is, I'm just going to draw this on over here. Let's say, for example, we're in a downtrend this is EU. We're expecting USD to rise. That means EU drops. And we're in a downtrend at the moment. Order block filled there. Then we're returning. Let's just say, for example, this is Monday or a Tuesday. We're in the beginning of the week. We know by Friday, we're expecting very good numbers. we want Euro USD to go down, right? So what do you want to do? The ideal situation is, if possible, try to get in any of the trades, whether it be whatever type of point of interest or whatever you can get into, wherever price goes. Let's just say this is now Tuesday. It breaks down, retraces, goes down. Then now you're in this trade. You're set for the week ahead pretty much, and for Friday. Now, what can you expect is, of course, you need to take partials and go to break even for sure, because there might be massive wicks and massive movements that come to take you out. But this is what you'd expect to happen. It gets to Friday, for example, and then that's when you see massive manipulations. And if you're close enough to your entry, it most likely will come to take you back out because of how much it moves. And then eventually, when everything clears up, boom, we start dropping properly. What usually happens at the time is you're gonna, as soon as the news is released, you might get massive move down, and that's what people expect. And so, okay, boom, let's sell. And then it goes back up, triggers people in who don't understand the impact of NFP. They might think, oh, okay, we've broken above this high, so now we can go for dollar, for EU buys. And this is completely wrong. All it is manipulation. You just need to understand what the NFP means and the impact it has on the charts, essentially. Now, like I said here, if you're trading NFP itself, wait for the fake out manipulative move, which almost always occurs, especially when the numbers are huge as well, whether it be to the downside or to the upside. So this fake move might not always hit the cleanest point of interest. So trying to guess how far away the manipulation will occur is hard to do unless we have many confirmations. But even then, I would advise against entering straight away. So if you're thinking of entering, so NFP is released at 130, but price gets to your point of interest, let's just say at 120, do you really want to risk and enter that point of interest at that time? I would heavily advise against that. Now the third step, once you see the manipulation clear up, you can try to enter the market as a market execution. So that means, so it might be hard to get into a limit because of how much it's moving. You might misunderstand the points of interest. It might not even hit a clean point of interest. It might just, I don't know, let's just hit some random point on the chart that usually you can't explain. And that's mainly due to the volatility at the time. What you could do is, if price action has cleared up a bit and you see that we're now downtrending, you might not actually see any pullbacks like you normally would because of how impactful the price movement is. So what you could try to do is enter market sell, put a stop loss somewhere comfortable. So maybe at the previous high where you can expect price to not go back up to. And then this will most likely keep on going and going and going, even until the next week. And that's exactly what we've been seeing during July and the August time as well. Obviously, look back onto each NFP day, see what happened in the market as well in the charts. Definitely help. So my personal opinion, forget trying to trade NFP if you have not done so in the past. I have minimal experience. And just understand the effect of the data release and how this can aid our directional bias. Finding an entry the next week is always more safe and reliable. So like I said, we've got Friday here, end of week right there. Then you've got the new week. If you're seeing price going down, you can expect Monday and Tuesday. Think back to our technical section, because that's what we're always doing. We're linking fundamentals to technicals. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Monday and Tuesday, you can expect some kind of retracement. Now, depending on how strong the fundamentals are for the EU sales at the moment, because that's what we're looking at, because USD just rose because of the information and the data, you might expect a shallow retracement. So that's what you got to try and get into. Or if you've got a very clean point of interest, set your limit there. Actually, see, wait and see, does timing link up as well? Are we in New York session? Are we in the New York London crossover? Or are we in London Open? These are the three, these are the three main times that we want to be looking at during Monday and Tuesday. So just to clear up on that plan, NFP, you don't trade. You find directional bias. So you've got to understand where we're going long term. Are we going up? Are we going down? How has NFP helped with that? Then when it gets to the next week, end of week, Monday and Tuesday, you can look down on the lower time frames. When you get to a point of interest, see the break of structure, enter like how I teach with the technicals, could be an inducement, so it goes back up and goes down. And that's exactly what you want to be getting into. So yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed these lessons. I'm going to keep adding to these advanced fundamental sections. As you know, fundamentals the knowledge for it never ends. I'm always going to be researching and researching more and bringing more value and content to you guys. So this is the section I'm going to be adding it into. It's going to be advanced fundamentals. Might make a third section or just keep adding to this for the moment. But yeah, guys, this is it for now. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson so far. Maybe now NFP is clearer for you. You can actually understand how to trade it. Yeah, don't get manipulated. Don't be a market noob and just enter straight away, because that's the worst thing you can do, especially on a big news event like this. So yeah, guys, take care and I'll see you in the next section.